Do you suffer from sneezing, sore throat, runny nose, itchy eyes, especially in the fall, seasonal allergies, hay fever? Are you looking for something natural? Let's find out. Hello and welcome to another edition of the Ask Dr. Pickel Show, and today I want to talk about a potential answer, natural answer for seasonal allergies and hay fever, and especially in the fall time where people seem to be getting hit the most. Now, I remember I had really horrible seasonal allergies, or hay fever as we would call them here in the Midwest, and that would usually hit me always in that fall time. And it really, I don't remember it really starting until maybe junior high school, and then it just seemed to get worse. And then really, I would say when I got into high school, that's when it was really bad. And I just, every fall, every time school started, I'd be in there with the runny nose, itchy eyes, watery eyes, sneezing, and I was like, oh, this is not good. And you're trying to set in class and concentrate, you got the Kleenex constantly going, and then I would take some over-the-counter stuff, and yeah, that would help. It would help suppress it. It seemed like I had to take more and more of it over time, but it also though made me tired, and that I didn't like, because of course I didn't want to be tired all the time. So I was looking for something natural, and really that kind of came along in my college years. When I got into college, I still had these symptoms every fall, like clockwork, and finally someone said to me, they said, well, hey, here, try this stuff. And of course something they had taken, and I was like, what the heck is it? And they said, yeah, it's a natural allergy formula. And so I started taking it, and I was like, hey, this stuff works pretty good, and it doesn't make me tired. And I was like, hey, this is great. So I continued taking that, and now, looking back on, hey, this was pretty good stuff. We can say, hey, well, what was in it? What was so effective for you? So that's what I want to talk about with what we're going to go over today. And the main ingredient in that formula, and many formulas that are out there now, is what is called quercetin. Yeah, it starts with a Q. So let's dive right in with quercetin here. Now, quercetin is a flavonoid. Now, maybe you've heard of flavonoids or bioflavonoids. You'll find these in vitamin C. They're actually in quite a few different things, fruits and veggies mainly. And so these flavonoids, what they do, these powerful flavonoids, they basically help prevent and modulate histamine. And of course, you've heard from commercials, antihistamine, trying to get down histamine levels. Histamine is something that naturally forms in our body. We actually need it. It has other functions. But, if histamine levels rise too high, this can be a problem. And it's really, when we see these allergy issues, this is an overreaction of the immune response to things in our environment. So you also have to find out, why is the immune system doing that? But so the first thing we can say is, okay, well, what could I maybe eat that's high in quercetin? Is there something in my diet that can help? Absolutely. So really, the thing you really want to do is stick with your fruits and your veggies. Apples are actually pretty darn high in quercetin. When they say apple a day, well, maybe you need to do that during the season of when your allergies flare up. Berries, dark colored grapes, red onions, raw broccoli, kale, cauliflower, bell peppers, green tea. All these things are great in that they are high in quercetin, but number one, if you cook them or heat them up, you pretty much destroy a lot of the quercetin, so that doesn't really work out. Also, even if you ate a pretty good abundance, you're probably not going to get your quercetin levels up to enough to really quell or hold back your allergy symptoms. So, what about this quercetin also? It does have some superpowers to it, I call them. And that means some things that it can deal with. And number one, quercetin is a natural antioxidant. So think of this, with antioxidants, they prevent your cells in your body from aging as fast. The detriments of things affecting our body on a daily basis. Anti-inflammatory. Actually, there's research on quercetin being anti-cancer, antimicrobial. Actually, it helps to fight bacteria and things like that. It's also an immunomodulator. So this thing, quercetin, actually helps your immune system. So if you're fighting something off, yeah, it sometimes prevents the immune system from overreacting or helps it to react. Now, also quercetin acts as a zinc ionophore. And what does that mean? Well, basically it helps zinc to get into your cells. It's like a taxi cab for zinc, which is great because that's antiviral. So this really helps with viruses too. And we know with this recent virus, people were taking lots of zinc, but you also have to have things like these flavonoids to get zinc into your cells. All right, so quercetin, the thing about it too is if you just take basic quercetin, like you'll see in a lot of supplements, I hate to say, it does not absorb very well. It just does not. So it's a larger molecule. So there are other forms. They've said, hey, maybe if we kind of do this and this, maybe it'll absorb better. So they did make this brand. It's called Phytosome, and I like this one a lot. So what they did is they added some lecithin to it. It's what's called an aglycone or anhydrous. You don't know what that means, but this stuff absorbs 20 times better than regular quercetin. So that's pretty darn good. That's probably the best I've seen. So, you know, if you're going to take it, you might want to look at that form. There is another form here, this enzymatic modified isoquercetin, EMIQ. That one absorbs pretty well too, but definitely not as good as the Phytosome. And then there's basically your quercetin dihydrate that you can get. So when you look at the ingredient list on the bottle, you can kind of look for those things and maybe, you know, note these when you shop for them and say, hey, what form is in here? Now the thing is if you take quercetin, how long does it last in your system before you need to retake it? Because if you're having allergies all day long, you know, even with the allergy, the antihistamine meds, yeah, they usually wear off after a bit, and then you got to take more. Well, yeah, this is an herb or a botanical, so it is going to wear off too, and it lasts about, now depending on your physiology, everybody's body's different, but from about 3 to 7 hours. I have seen it last even longer in some people. And really, you need to take about 500 to 1,000 milligrams 2 to 4 times a day. Now, how would you start doing this? You don't want to just start with the biggest dose. You want to start low and work your way up. So initially, you'd probably just start with the 500. Hey, did I notice a difference? How did I do? If not, if it's like, hey, I didn't feel anything, it didn't help at all, go up to 1,000, see how you do. And then maybe you need to be at 1,000 2 times a day. Maybe you need to be at 500 4 times a day. You know, it's just kind of building up. So start with a lower dose and work your way up. The great thing about quercetin in the research is it doesn't really have any known side effects, which is fantastic. But I'm sure if you dosed it high enough, you could produce something. Now, a lot of times in formulas, you'll see it combined with other things, and that's great because it does work, I think, fantastically with other things. You'll see it commonly combined with vitamin C or vitamin D or zinc or ginger. Sometimes you can find formulations with all these things in here because these other things also help with histamine and acting as antihistamines like stinging nettle and mangosteen and butterbur. So these are other supplements that can help with the entire picture, definitely with quercetin. So again, if you're having these allergy issues, especially in the fall and also in the spring, really anytime seasonally, then this quercetin may be of help. Now also there are some people who I see as patients that are like, hey, my allergies are year-round. If your allergies are year-round and they're getting worse, there's something else going on, and that's what we really need to look for. Because even with seasonal allergies, it's like, what is driving this? Because the amazing thing now that I can say is I don't take anything for my allergies anymore because I don't have them anymore. I had to find out what was driving them, and usually we find things like heavy metals, chemicals, infectious agents, things that are causing the immune system to malfunction or attack things inappropriately, and then you got to find those, get rid of those, and people are like, hey, my allergies went away. So, but I am a happy believer in that, you know, I am happily not suffering with fall allergies anymore after it being so severe. All right, well, have a wonderful day, and God bless, and I'll see you on the next video.